Hello and welcome to Awaken, a space where truth is not only allowed, it is honored. My name is Zainab Hamid, and I created this podcast to bring voice to the parts of us that have long been silenced. The parts that question, feel deeply, and desire something more meaningful from life. Awaken is not just about conversations, it's about transformation. It's about peeling back the layers of who we thought we had to be so that we can remember who we really are. This is a space for the seekers, the empaths, the ones who have carried pain and turned it into wisdom. This is for those who are ready to stop running from themselves and instead begin the sacred journey of coming home to who they've always been. Here, we do not shy away from the raw, the real, or the rare. We lean into it. We explore the intersections of healing, spirituality, self awareness, and the lessons that life so often whispers to us. If only we would listen. Each episode is an invitation to pause, reflect, and awaken something new within yourself. I believe that healing is not a destination, it is a process, a practice, a way of being. It's about learning to see the beauty in the breakdowns, the power in the pauses, and the wisdom in the wounds. It's about realizing that even in your darkest moments, light is present, waiting for us to notice. Through heartfelt stories, honest reflections, and conversations that reach beyond the surface, Awaken will guide you into a deeper connection with yourself and the world around you. I hope that as you listen, you feel seen, you feel understood, and you feel reminded that, that you are never alone on this journey. This is not about perfection, it is about presence. Not about answers, but about better questions. And not about doing more, but about finally allowing yourself to be. So take a deep breath, settle in, and let's walk this path together. This is Awaken, where the journey inward becomes the bridge to everything you've been searching for outward. So today's episode is going to be the healing framework that we talked about at the end of the emotional compass. And so the healing framework, episode one, is revolved around release through expression, releasing your emotions, sitting with your emotions, feeling your emotions, and everything that really revolves around being able to release whatever you're feeling in a healthy way. And for this episode, we're gonna go through a few things. And of course, I want to tell a few stories about me and how I went through the hard part of suppression and instead of releasing, which is two huge, different, complete opposite things. And so when I was suppressing, I looked probably like 50 years old. I was not my like I was nothing close to who I was meant to be. I was just living through distractions and living through other people's perceptions and other people's projections. And I suppressed every feeling that I could instead of feeling them. And they always bled into different components of my life. And they bled into my attitude, they bled into my temperament, they bled into who the chaotic parts of my life, and it made more chaos in my life. And so when I was on this journey, you're gonna hear me say that a few times. When I was on this journey, I made the decision to sit and feel whatever I was feeling. You know, my journey was an intention. It was intended for me. It wasn't because of anyone else. It was my choice to get better, my choice to grieve the person that I was before, and my choice to become a better version of me, right? Not just for me, but for the people around me and people, my kids, especially, you know? So you're becoming the best version of you for your kids, essentially. Like for me, it was my kids. And, you know, my future spouse or our family that we build together, whatever the case is. Like you're building the best version of you for yourself first before anyone else. And to build yourself, you have to release what all the baggage that was in, like I was describing this yesterday. It's like imagine all of your feelings are inside of a bucket or something. You can't add joy to that bucket if it's overflowing with negativity. You can't add things into your life when you have so many other things that you're still thinking about or you're still have in your bucket, right? And so thankfully, I don't have anything in mind. I just have me right now. Me and my kids. Like I'm not really, and maybe something else, but like it's like I don't even know. And that's the whole thing when it comes to confusion, when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm not even going to acknowledge it because I don't want to be confused, And so it's like there's so many things that come into the play when you think of your bucket. When you think of your bucket, what do you want in it? Like you want joy, you want all of those, you want all the positivity. And as long as you have negativity in there, you can't add the positivity to it. So that's a good analogy. It's a good way to think about it. And so to release the negativity so you can add more joy and more happiness to your life and have that intention for yourself, like build that life for you, build that beautiful life for yourself, and then everything else will fall into place. All the beauty that is supposed to be for you will be for you, but just build it for yourself first, you know like when you love your own company, you are not going to entertain company that's not aligned with you. Does that make sense? You won't entertain it, you won't allow it into your life. And so that's why it's so important to release and add more joy. Take yourself on dates, do stuff like that. Like I can't remember the last time I took myself on a date, and I feel like it's time for me to do something like that. Hopefully on Wednesday I'll do it. But it's really something you have to do. You have to be able to recharge yourself in that light. And I'm somebody who's been doing this work for so long, and sometimes I forget to do it too. We're human. We have life. I have life. I have aspiration. I have ambitions that I'm working on, work that I'm working on, and it just slips my mind. It's like I'd rather be working than going and doing this right now. I don't have time to go out and do stuff with, friends and all this stuff because I'm working on this. You know what I mean? And so I just learned that that's starting to take a toll on me. That's my current situation. And I'm human. Sometimes I fall into life and what life brings, and it's so important to be mindful to take that time to chill and just be with yourself and have fun, even if it's just by yourself. And I tend to do a lot of things by myself, especially lately. But I'm waiting for my tribe. But I'm just saying, I enjoy my own company. I really, really do. I really do. And sometimes I look at the time and be like, what the hell? I've been working that long. Like I don't even, then I don't have even time to go do anything anyways. So I just stay at home and finish my work or finish something that I was doing. And I feel like that's taking a toll on me lately, you know? So take that time if you need it. Take that time, take yourself out on a date, you know, it doesn't even have to be something extravagant, even just going and watching a movie by yourself or taking yourself out for lunch or, something like this and just relaxing your mind in some kind of way. which is definitely on my goal list for this week. This week is that's on my goal list for 150%. So yeah, doing something for yourself is a way to release. Figuring out what are those things that help you release. What is that thing or those things? Like for me, it's expression through writing. For me, it's exercise, right? In that kind of way. For me, it's a lot of things, a lot of important things. Um, I'm not very talkative. I rather sit with myself and write my feelings out. I'm not very talkative if I have a lot going on in my mind. Um, I have different ways of expressing myself through art, through words, but I don't speak them. Does that make sense? I'll speak it after, like after I write it down. It makes it easier for me. But that's me. So write down in the comments what you what is what are the things that you do through expression, through release, some kind of release, right? Um, Today I want so release is not just letting go. It is allowing yourself to feel what you've been holding. It is giving your body permission to soften after years of survival. It is telling the truth not to the world but to yourself. Because before you can rebuild, before you can rewire, before you can restore anything within you, you have to release what is no longer yours to carry. And I think a lot of people understand release. They think it's this big dramatic moment. They think it's a loud or explosive, but most it's they think it's loud or explosive. But most release in quiet. It's internal. It's the moment you finally stop pretending you're okay. It's the moment you admit, I'm hurting, I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed. I'm not who I used to be. I don't want to keep living this way. Release begins with honesty. And here's the part I added yesterday, the part people don't talk about enough. Release requires expression. You cannot release what you refuse to express. And expression doesn't just mean talking, expression is everything that lets your soul breathe. You express through journal, you express through creativity, through movement, through working out, dancing, walking, through music, through prayer, through tears, art, voice, notes, poetry, silence. Expression is the bridge between the pain that you carry, and the peace you seek. Because the truth is, every emotion in your body is looking for a door. When you don't give it one, it starts breaking the windows. Release is the open door. And I want you to hear this. There is no healing without release. There is no clarity without release. There is no emotional intelligence, no emotional safety, no growth, no breakthrough without release. This is why so many people feel stuck. They're trying to build a new life on top of unspoken pain. You cannot rewire your mind while holding onto the versions of yourself you've outgrown. You cannot restore your peace while gripping to the stories that broke you. You cannot elevate while clinging to who you were in survival mode. Release is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is maturity. It is your spirit saying, I deserve to breathe again. So today, I want you to ask yourself, what am I still holding on to? What have I not allowed myself to say out loud? What emotion needs expression before my soul can release it? Because episode 1 of the healing framework is simple. Release is the first step, expression is the doorway, and honesty is the key. You cannot heal what you deny. You cannot free what you silence. You cannot become who you're meant to be while carrying the weight of who you used to be. Let yourself release. Let yourself exhale. Let yourself begin again. This is where the healing starts. And so, with that being said, there's nothing, there's nothing that you will not heal any part of you until you sit with what you need to sit with. And I understand doing the work seems scary. Doing the work means you kind of have to put yourself in check in some kind of way, or you kind of have to admit your mistakes, or you have to forgive yourself, or you have to learn to build that trust within yourself again. I went through it. I know. I released so many things that didn't in so much people literally from scratch. On this journey, I can't even tell you if there's one person that's been consistent in my life. You know, other than my family, of course, but I'm not even talking about them. I'm talking about in the outside world. I don't think I have anyone who who's a part of that old version of me that is still consistent in my life. And that's how that shows you a lot. It shows you a lot that the cleansing process is the release process. Whatever doesn't align with you is going to fall off. It is going to fall off when you're on your healing journey. Whoever, everybody's intentions are going to be disclosed. You're going to see people for who they really are because you're going to be in need, and whoever shows up is going to be that person that you take with you when you do become, when you are becoming, when you do get to the end. And the people that fell off will be falling off forever. They'll be like gone forever. And that's a blessing. Like if you think about it, it's really the biggest blessing you can ever think of. Because if you like thank God you are able to release certain things in your life and move on from them, right? So even like writing this whole healing framework and talking it out and writing my poetry that came with it too, that was healing within itself because that was my way of expression. And it's so important to kind of close the door to the past and reopen a brand new one because it is time. It's time for you to open a new one. It's time for you to step into the door of your own journey and whatever that consists of and sit with what you need to sit with and sift through it. What do you want to keep and what do you want to let go? The letting go process is just that. It's letting go. Like you're changing your life in so many different aspects because you're changing you. And what you think was cute before is not cute anymore. So when you're trying to do or trying to go into different relationships and then you just like it's 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 different. Everything is different. What you're looking for is different. Who you're attracted to is different. Who you feel something for is different. Everything is different because you released whatever wasn't yours. And now you're becoming something that you're meant to be. And so, with that being said, who does that mean? Who is that person and who do you want that person to be for yourself that aligns with you? Those are all questions you have to ask yourself and be honest about it. I literally was writing journals and like having bullet points of every single thing that I wanted to become and that I wanted to be. And it took repetition. It took doing it every single day, holding my boundaries, holding who I was, holding my morals and my values, and sticking to them. No matter how hard it got, no matter how hard the temptation got, no matter what happened, I stuck to it. And then now I'm just attracted to something completely different for my life. Everything that I'm attracted to do is different. Even friendships, when it comes to friendships, when it comes to romantic relations, I'm attracted to a whole different personality. I'm not attracted to the same things that I was before because I'm different. I became something different. And grieving that old version of you is the hardest part of the healing journey. Forgiving yourself for the decisions that person made and the people they allowed and all of those things, that's all release. That's all things you have to sit with. And so that took a long time. It took a very, very, very long time. And just because I talk about this stuff, I'm talking about this stuff because it's something that people can relate to. It's not because I'm still going through it myself, because I'm not. I wouldn't be able to write all of the whole framing framework and go through all of that if I was still in uh in the journey instead of looking outside of it, right? I'm in a whole brand new journey. I'm not in that journey. I'm in a brand new journey of the becoming stage. Now, who do I want to be? Where do I want to go? How do I want my career to go? All of these things. Those are the questions I'm really focused on. I'm focused on my work right now. I'm focused on my life. I'm focused on fixing problems that I need to fix, and also doing it in a way that's joyful and uplifting and not depressing, right? So I just realized today, like, I have to take some time this week and just relax. Relax my mind and relax myself and take myself out on a date because we deserve it. It's time. It's time. It's time to be free. That's what release is freedom. Freedom to be, freedom to live, freedom to hold yourself the way you want to hold yourself, freedom to live in your own light, freedom to live in your own being, freedom to dress however you want to dress, do whatever the hell you want to do, right? And when you are at that level, you stop caring what people think of you, and you start being. You just start being. And that's the point that everybody should get to in their life. That's why this work is so important to incorporate into your life, because you don't want to live for other people's opinions. You want to live for your own. You want to live for your own happiness. What makes you happy? Who makes you happy? Regardless of what everyone else thinks. And that's the goal. That's the ultimate goal. So, with that being said, I'm going to love you and leave you. I always take that from my teacher. But love you and leave you. And I hope you all have a blessed day. And the next episode is going to be the rewire stage of the healing framework. We're going to rewire your brain. We're going to rewire your habits. We're going to rewire who you are to fit who you're meant to be, not who somebody else wants you to be, what you want to be, right? And that takes I think the rewire stage is going to be the most painful stage, because you're going to start doing things you never did before, and then you're going to be uncomfortable, and you're going to have a lot of fear. There's so much that comes with the rewire stage. And I always like to think, when you think of rewire, you think of, okay, how long, I always like to use this analogy because this is what started my whole mindset work, is this thought, this vision, or this thought, where I sat down and I was writing, and I was also on my body journey, like getting my body healthy, getting myself healthy. And I had this thought where it's like, if we thought of our mind like a muscle, we would think of it in a way where we would be more patient with our growth. We will be more patient with where we're going in our career. We will be more patient with everything. Because when you think of a muscle, you don't expect yourself to go to the gym for 2 days or a week even or 3 weeks even, and then come home and have a six pack. Like, it doesn't work that way. You don't even expect it, right? You wouldn't even expect it. And that's the whole point when it comes to the healing journey, or the when it comes to your mindset. I'm sorry. When it comes to your mindset, it's like your brain is the same way. It needs it's it's you're feeding it. You're feeding it through the food you eat, you're feeding it through the knowledge you incorporate, you're feeding it through the music you listen to, you're feeding it through the prayers that you pray. Everything is you're feeding yourself, your mind, whatever you intake. Just like you're working on a muscle, it takes time to build, it takes time to see the lines and to see the six pack, or to see whatever it is that you're working on. It takes time and repetition and doing things over and over and over and over again. Your reps, right? You think of it like that. That's your mindset work. Your mindset work is the same exact way. It's it has to be thought the same way, and then you'll have more grace with yourself, and more understanding with yourself through the journey of changing your mindset, because that's not something easy. That's really, really hard. It's challenging. I don't like to use the word hard. It's very challenging. It's like you're writing, let's say you're trying to change your handwriting, right? How long is it going to take for you to get your mind to change your handwriting? Have you ever? When I was a kid, I used to do it on purpose. I used to be like, okay, I'm gonna change how my G is, and I used to write the G like 1,000 times a day to change how my G is, and I used to do that for fun. I swear to God, like, listen, I swear, I was obsessed with the mind from like a very, very young age. So I was just like, okay, I always challenge myself in that kind of light, where it's like, okay, my mind got used to how I write this way. Now I'm going to change it again, and I'm going to change it again, and I'm going to change it again. And I just got myself used to that. I don't know what that means, but it's just like, I get bored from just doing the same things over and over and over again. And so just for me to like change, and that's why I use the analogy, because that's what I used to do when I was a kid. I literally would sit down and write my name in a different way, just so I can memorize how to change my handwriting in that way. That's why I use that analogy, because that's not something easy. That took weeks on weeks every time I decided to change my handwriting. I'm just saying. I can't believe I shared that, but okay. But that's really what it is. Like your mindset, you have to keep doing things over and over and over again for it to change. And then I always set another goal or another challenge or another thing. And it's like, okay, now I'm learning to just relax, take a deep breath, okay, and actually do things the right way, do everything the right way, and not the Sorry, my kids. But yeah, mindset work is like, think of your brain like a muscle. Okay. Now, as we go through all of these frameworks, as we go through the rewire framework, I'm gonna shed more light onto that. I'm gonna shed more understanding onto that. Um, so I love you all so much. Have a great day, and I hope to hear from you soon. Have a great day.